Morning everyone, my name's Claire. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm about to do a pour, a straight pour with floetrol as my pouring medium. I've done lots of straight pours, ring pours in the past, and I've always used a PVA glue and water mixture simply because it's cheaper. And so when I first started out, that was my go-to pouring medium. But it's just occurred to me recently, I've got some flood floetrol. I'm going to use flood floetrol as the pouring medium to mix with the paints instead of the PVA glue. And what I want to know is if that will have much effect. Will that create any more cells, any more interactions with the colours with the paints? So I'm going to do my first ever flood floetrol straight pour. So let me show you the colours I'm going to use. So the colours I've chosen are very, very similar to the previous straight pour I did. But the previous one had too much white in it, and so the overall result of the painting was quite pale. So I've taken out the white. I have put in some pearl white here, but just one of them, and a very pale pink. But otherwise the colours are very similar. So some turquoises, Payne's grey, purple, violet colour, and the bronze and the gold. So very similar. And so I'm wanting a darker, richer coloured painting. So to show you in a bit more detail, I've got Daler Rowney Pearl White, Pebeo Studio Acrylics Iridescent Violet Blue, Amsterdam Rose Light, Amsterdam Greenish Blue, Pebeo Gold, Precious Gold. That's actually different from the gold. It's the richer, warmer coloured gold. Pebeo Iridescent Blue Green, Pebeo Payne's Grey, Daler Rowney System 3 Acrylic Purple, and a Daler Rowney Graduate Acrylic Phthalo Turquoise, and then Amsterdam Bronze. So I've mixed all of these paints, about 2 parts flood floetrol to 1 part paint. I say about, I've ended up adding just a little bit more water to some of the iridescent colours because they're thicker. They just need a bit of extra water just to thin them down. But they're all really quite nice and thick and creamy. So for this straight pour, I'm going to layer up 1 pint size cup. I quite like doing a few cups, but this time I'm just going to do the 1. This is the order I'm going to layer the paints in. So slightly differently to normal, I'm going to put the 3 pinks together and the 3 turquoises together. So what I normally do is alternate the pinks and the turquoises, but I'm a little bit scared of them muddying. And I'd quite like to see some obvious pink bands and some obvious turquoise bands. So I think if I group them together like this, I've just got more chance of getting that. So let's layer up the cup. So first of all, I've got the Payne's Grey. Just going to do a nice little layer of Payne's Grey in the bottom. And then I'm going to pour down the side. I'm going to use approximately half the cup, actually that was less than half the cup each time to layer, because then I expect to get maybe 2 bands, 2 layers of each colour. Just look at that, isn't that beautiful? Wow, what an amazing cup of paint. The canvas I'm going to use is a 50 by 60 centimetre canvas. So I'm going to pour straight just onto the centre of this canvas, and I'm going to pour, so I put the paints in down this edge and I'm going to pour out from this edge as well. While I'm pouring, I'm going to vary the speed. So sometimes I might tip the cup a little bit more so it comes out faster. I'm going to twist my hand around because then that just has a effect on the design. And I'll also move my hand up and down, because if you go up higher, the paint goes faster and it creates smaller little ripples in the design. So I'm going to be doing, I'll just play it by ear, but I'll be changing things around a little bit. So here goes. Wow, the colours are amazing. First thing I noticed is I've got green, and that's where that phthalo turquoise was next to the gold. Right, what I've decided now to do, I'm happy with the way that this is poured out, but I'm going to put some diluted paint around the edge, just so it's got something to slide over. So I'm just going to get some paint mixed, it won't be a second. So I've just mixed up some turquoise in here. It's in the same cup, so it might come out slightly multicoloured, but it's a lot runnier than this. So the idea is that this is just going to wet the canvas, so it will just make it a lot easier for this puddle to slide over, instead of slide over the wet canvas. Alright, I'm just going to give it a good torch to try and remove some of the air bubbles. And I'm going to wear gloves. I never wear gloves, but I'm working tomorrow, and these colours will be a nightmare to try and clean off my hands. So I'm going to try and wear gloves, see if I can cope with it. Right, so the fun part. So I think to start with, I'm going to just try and get some of the canvas covered. So I'm just going to tilt it around, probably just in a circle to start with, just to start trying to stretch some of it out. Great. The reason I came off that corner first was because I wanted to try and save some of this gorgeous pink and purple. And I think I've managed that. So I think I'm going to try and come off this corner next, because I like these colours. So I think if you can go off the corners that you like the most first, I think the theory is that you've got more control over the paint, and you can you're more likely to be able to save the bits that you like, that corner that you like. So the paints are very thick, so they're moving very slowly. but that doesn't matter. There is a lot of paint on here, so I'm not worried about the amount of paint I've got. I'm just taking my time with it because they are thick. These colours are amazing. They are very, very bright and bold, and that's exactly what I wanted. Right, wow, this turquoise is opening up. Oh, it's amazing because you lay the puddle down and it looks beautiful, looks really pretty, looks really interesting. But then it's actually when you stretch and you open all these layers up and they just suddenly appear, they just look incredible. So you think you might know what the painting is going to look like after you poured the puddle, but actually you don't, because it just changes before your eyes. Right, I want to try and keep some of this amazing bronze. So I'm going to go off this corner now, because that bronze is just gorgeous. I think I'm going to lose some of this detail I've got here, but can't do too much about that. So again, I'm just taking my time. It's moving very slowly. I could move it quicker if I could tilt the canvas at more of an angle, but I'm just going to go slowly because then I'm more in control of what's happening with the paint. So I'm now just bringing the paint back to the centre. Right, I'm just going to bring the weight of the paint back to the centre of the canvas, and then I'm going to have a good look at the composition and decide what to do next, whether to keep tilting. Oh my goodness, it's amazing. Wow. You can see every colour, especially in the centre there. Wow, this is so cool. Right, let's just have a look. So I guess the bit that I'm not as keen on is still this end. There's a more muddier section here. So should I tilt that off? But that could wreck the composition of it. I do quite like this turquoise and orange section, and I would lose that if I tipped this corner off. Or should I just leave it? But actually there's some turquoise and the orange, the bronze in there. So if I did tip it off, I think I could stretch that out a bit more. I'm done. I absolutely love it. It is just crazy, fascinating, so detailed. There is so much going on. I'm not quite sure where my eye is drawn to. There doesn't seem to be a centre to the painting, other than maybe the bright pink in the middle. Oh, it's just gorgeous. Right, and let me show you. This has to be one of my craziest paintings yet. I love it. I love crazy. There's just, I don't know where to start. There's just so much to look at. These amazing little wiggly bits here. It looks a bit white on my phone, but it's actually pink. So pinks and purples with some bronze sandwiched in between. Look at these layers. One of these turquoises, I think it was the very darkest one, is transparent. And I think you get a sense of how transparent it is there, because you can see the lines, but you can also see lines underneath the lines. So look, it looks like ripples of sand there. Ripples of sand with the sea. I like this corner. Really nice. You've got that pink shining through within the turquoise. The bronze there, really like the bronze because it looks quite orangey and it just makes it look quite nice and bright. So we've got this amazing pink section in the middle. So it's just nice and bright. And then that, I think, is the Payne's grey. It looks quite purpley there because it's obviously next to the pink. And then look at these details. So you've got, it just amazes me, you've got all the colours right up next to each other, but they haven't mixed. They haven't blended together. Oh, again, I love the bronze next to the blue, next to the turquoise. And then again, just all the colours up against each other, next to each other. And then this bit here, this is muddied slightly. So you've got just a slightly paler version, which I think contrasts really well to the rest of the colours. So this will darken a little bit as it dries. So it'll be interesting to see how this changes. So I will be back once it's dry. It's dry. Here is the dry result, the dry painting. I have to say, this, I think, is one of my most favourite ever paintings, just because it's so interesting and dramatic and weird, and there's so many words I could use to describe it. So there's the centre, I think, of the painting is the pink section, but there is just so much going on. You've got this section at the top, which my husband said looks just like some intestines. You've got these lovely lines. You've got these amazing ripples. The colours, they've gone a lot greener. So especially down in this bottom section around here, and also in here, the turquoise has really darkened as it's dried. So my first thought was it's really now a green and pink painting. So let me show you close up, and then you'll see all of the mad, crazy details about this painting. So I'll start up in top left corner, and then here you've got the beginning of the intestines, and I know exactly what he means. It does look exactly like that. But can you see these different waves of colour within each of these ripples? It's just gorgeous. You've got some colours over the top of other colours, and the blend of colours in all of these. These are really quite stretched out, which is why they're quite irregular, as opposed to these ones here. Because they're right in the centre, they're not stretched out as much, so they've kept their shape perfectly. And then maybe that's the centre, really. That really deep Payne's grey section. So this is the green. So it really is, it's the turquoise, the green element of turquoise seems to have really dominated, has come out, as opposed to the blue. It's definitely a green painting now, as opposed to a turquoise blue painting. This bit fascinates me here, these lovely sort of cells, or I don't know what they are, what you'd call them. And then this bit in comparison is just quite straight. This is the bit that, yeah, looked like water, and then the ripples of sand. So yeah, and then obviously the pink lagoon right in the centre with some pink sails within the pink. It's just so pretty. It's just so bold and bright and colourful. Just so dramatic. Great. Thank you so much for watching this. Let me know what you think of this crazy painting. Just write some comments, leave me some comments. I'd love to know what you think, what your thoughts are. And please do consider subscribing to my channel. Great. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Bye.